BookTube.
Hi.
Today, we're going to do our New World's November Week 1 Aliens wrap-up. Going to go over what we read, and we have a couple of prompts.
Yep.
To drag ourselves along.
We're a day late, but day late is better than we were earlier last week, which was like 3 days late. So, yeah. This is going to be fun, though. The way we're going to do it, well, we'll just let you know as we go. It'll be kind of a short video, I think, but it'll be a lot of fun. Link says hi. Link and his poor cone say hi.
He's been very anxious today.
Yeah. He made a mess out of his cone earlier. He likes to roll around on the ground and roll around in the floor.
And drag his face along the ground where the leaves and the dirt are, and he's eating soft food, so it's a losing battle.
Yeah, but it's funny to watch him eat soft food. He'll eat. I wonder where he's going. Got his little swagger. He's got his cone, and he places the entire cone down onto the bowl and licks up the food, and it's hilarious to watch. But it's cute.
He really has adapted well.
Yeah, he has.
He's 11 years old, man.
Yep. All right, you want to start?
Yeah. So we made ourselves some prompts that we're going to cover every week of November, just to keep ourselves in line. Yeah. So we're going to go over what our favorite book was, what our least favorite book was. Well, story, sorry. Biggest surprise, and explain that.
The biggest surprise is we're not allowed to say, I was surprised at how good this book is. We have to choose something in a book that surprised us. An aspect of a book. Not just say that we were surprised at how good a book was. So that's kind of a cheat. Yeah.
Biggest disappointment, and an author I want to read more of.
Yep. Pardon
the poor grammar, but it's what you're getting.
Yeah. How would you say that?
An author of whom I want to read more.
An author of whose books I would like to more read.
We didn't mention books. It's an author I want to read more of.
Okay.
So it's an author of whom I wish to read more.
Okay, there you go. That'll work.
Don't mess with me, man.
Go ahead.
An author of books whom I wish to read of more.
And hopefully, I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty as hell every time I get back here. Hopefully, our thumbnail... Is Link licking you?
Yes.
Hopefully, our thumbnail is not of me taking a drink of water again.
Taking a swaller.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, well, let's get on this before he starts chewing on me. Okay, so my favorite book this week...
He's being a little pest today.
I think my favorite book this week was actually...
you don't know
no, it's a tie between the Birdman. I Married a Birdman, and Doom. They're both Regina Bell books, and I loved them both so very much.
Yeah. And even if you want the titles to these, go to our
last video.
Last video. Well, no.
Wasn't it our last video?
No, because you put the robot prompts on there.
I put both of them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go to our last video and look. They'll be below.
If you like alien romance, or really just romance at all, just read Regina Bell.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I haven't tried her yet.
Who's your favorite? What was your favorite?
My favorite book of the week my favorite story of the week was definitely... I'm going to go ahead and say A Martian Odyssey, because we're not talking about the best things we read. If we're talking about the best things we read, mine would probably be Bloodchild by Octavia E. Butler. But my favorite and the most fun I had was definitely A Martian Odyssey.
Yeah, there's a large difference between your favorite and the best.
Yeah. Yep. A Martian Odyssey by Stanley G. Weinbaum.
I still think about that little bird thing flying through the air like a javelin.
Wheel.
Oh.
Yeah. It had elements of what is it? The Roadrunner?
Yeah.
in Wile E. Coyote.
Every
But it
time-
was hilarious. It was so much fun. I don't know if that was even meant to be funny at the time, but it was funny. It was hilarious. I had a great time with The Martian Odyssey. I think it's a must-read for any science fiction book fan. Any
It's a great story.
Fan. Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta read it.
It's geez, it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next on the list is it's least favorite, right? Yeah, least favorite.
Okay. You go ahead with that one.
For me, that was Made It to the Alien Warrior, because we love those titles. It was savagery with a little bit of supposed romance thrown in. Although where the romance comes in, I'm still waiting to figure it out.
Is it kind of like on Game of Thrones? Which I don't like Game of Thrones. I don't like the books. I don't like the show. It was Jason Momoa's character.
Lots of junk hanging out is what we're.
Wieners.
Yes. And if you start singing the song, I will kick you, because I just now got it out of my head. No, it's the storyline is a woman is kidnapped from Earth, as they all start, and she's bought by these aliens who chuck her into a jail cell with an alien, and they have to survive these gladiator games. And the idea is, over the course of the book, they're supposed to fall in love with each other and present this united front to the world in the gladiator games, and they absolutely hate each other to like the last 10 pages. And then all of a sudden it's wonderful, and even then it's not wonderful. It's like I said on the last one. You know how the pinnacle of every romance novel is the "I love you." Yeah. That's what you're reading up for. That's what everybody goes for. It didn't happen, and that upsets me a lot. So yeah, that was easily my least favorite.
What was it called again?
Made It to the Alien Warrior.
Okay, my least favorite was pretty easy.
By Maya Tanith.
It's Cat and Mouse by Ralph Williams. I have trouble with an R and a W word.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I understand this perfectly.
But Cat and Mouse, like I explained in our video, wasn't our last video, I think it's the one before it. I don't know.
There have been so many.
Yeah, I know. But what gets me about it is how they almost, what is the word, romanticized the act of hunting for sport. And I don't like the idea of hunting for sport, and I don't like the idea of hunting because you have something on your land that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? They have as much of a right to your natural land as anything does. And yeah, maybe maybe this was another world, but it's two ways. You can walk through, they can walk through. That's just the way it is. And for them not to villainize this main character just pissed me off to no end. And I thought it was just a crap story. I will never read anything by Ralph Williams again.
And some of those old rules of literature and film have to be obeyed. The murderer has to get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Even if he's murdering innocent animals or
Maybe there's some allegory there that I'm not smart enough to get. I just thought the story was not all that good. Although I read a story this week that I'll tell you about later that makes that one look like a Pulitzer Prize winner. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, it was junk, and it's pretty new. It's won awards because a writer is an award season sweetheart.
Oh.
Ugh. I thought it was terrible. But we'll talk about that later.
All right, biggest surprise. For me, the biggest surprise came from Rescue Party. Not only was it the biggest surprise because I loved it so very much, but there was... I don't want to.
There was a... Well, you don't have to. There was a plot twist.
Well, there were a couple of plot twists.
Yeah.
There was a plot twist like in the first 2 pages that I was actually really, really shocked by. And that just sort of set the tone for me. And by the time the end came around, I was like, well, this is pretty awesome. So, yeah, it was... biggest surprise for me was Rescue Party by Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah.
It had some really cool plot devices in there.
It did.
That it just...
Great story.
I plowed through it. I really did. I loved it so much.
You read it in just, what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Who Goes There by John B. Campbell.
Took 30 minutes to read.
Yeah.
I can hear Steve laughing and from 1,000 miles away.
Yep. My biggest surprise came from Who Goes There by John B. Campbell. And it is how violent the story was even then.
That's the one that The Thing is based on, right?
Yeah.
The movie
even though a huge part of the violence is implied, which is 100% different than the movie.
Yeah, I'll say.
There is enough violence left, and the story sticks in your mind because if no one has ever seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you won't get this. But like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, people look at that movie and they think that's the goriest movie I've ever watched a year on from watching it. And if you go back and watch that, you realize there is zero gore.
There's no gore to speak of in that movie.
In that movie. And Who Goes There kind of had the same effect. Most of the violence was implied, but it seemed like a really violent story. John W. Campbell, I think I said B. John W. Campbell, I believe, he was masterful in this story. And I thought it was his first story, but after commenting on Brandy's video, the Bookclectic, after commenting on her video, she said it was his last story. So it was his last story. And then he became the editor of the magazine that the story was published in.
Okay.
Yep. But excellent. I mean, wonderful story.
So your surprise was sort
memorable.
of the lack of gore?
No, my surprise was the level that they kept the same atmosphere from the movie from 1982. They had that atmosphere.
And when was the story written? In the 50s or something?
No,
or?
I think it was in the 30s.
Oh,
or the
okay.
40s.
A little ahead of its time on the horror.
It seemed
front.
really way ahead of its time because it was actually horror.
Oh.
It was real horror. It wasn't, a ghost sitting in a corner in a haunted house type thing.
And for the 40s, that's the kind of thing that they were like banned from schools.
Yeah.
Kicked people out for.
Yeah. Very well done.
How dare you read something like that in my house?
But yeah, it was almost what I would call visceral.
I have to read it.
Yeah. It's great. A whole lot of things surprised me about it, but one of the main things that surprised me was that it kept the atmosphere, or that the atmosphere from the story was the atmosphere from the movie from 82. Now, we watched the one from 51, and we didn't care much for it, the movie from 51. But I wish I had actually watched that movie before I'd read the story. Might have been different.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, so our next one was The Biggest Disappointment. And this one was easy for me. When we started this, when we first put out our TBR back in October, I told you I was dying to read this one book. It's the Human Ward by Michelle Mills. And this is like the 5th or 6th book in the series. I think it's the 5th. I want to say it's the 5th. In this series, and I was dying to read it. I was so excited because I love the series. I have loved every single book so far up to this point. So when this came out, I saved it for New World's November, and I was so disappointed. It was, again, the romance element was just sort of the last 10 pages.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, oh, I think I love this person, and there we go. And everybody's supposed to be excited about this, and no. Romance takes work. It takes build up. You can't just, unless you're looking for insta love, which I'm there for it for short stories. Insta love is great. Give it to me. But if we're talking about a full length romance novel, there has to be work towards it. That's why I hate enemies to lovers books. Although I hate the word lovers anyway. But I don't know.
Yeah, I despise that word too.
It always reminds me of the oversexed couple from Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah.
the two gross, creepy old people who are sitting in the hot tub talking about their sexcapades. Ugh, I don't like the word lover. It's awful. But the Human Ward was very disappointing. But the series is great. It's so good. It wasn't a bad book, but it didn't live up to the rest of them.
Yeah. Not
at all.
Yeah.
It's like a good 1.5 below where the others are.
Yeah. Well, mine, my disappointment is not actually from one of the stories. It's when I started reading The Day the Martians Came by Frederick Pohl, and found out it's actually just the 10th chapter of a Frederick Pohl book.
What?
Yeah. And I was really disappointed, but I soldiered on and finished, and it was fine. But I hate that it was a chapter from a book.
It don't seem right.
No, I think that's actually kind of cheap to do that in a short story collection, and it was a Harlan Ellison edited collection, so I thought it was going to be something great, and I'm sure the rest of the collection is. But I don't like when they take when they take pieces of books and throw them in.
Was it a complete story in itself?
I don't know. I don't know if there was anything else or not. It seemed like a fairly complete story, and it was really good because I'm a Frederick Pohl fan anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't care for that aspect of it at all. But if I had another disappointment, it would have been Cat and Mouse, the story I just talked about. But yeah, I'm not gonna use the same one twice.
Okay.
Yep, your turn.
So, an author I want to read more of. Screw it. I'm just keeping the bad grammar. I don't care. So many. So, I definitely want to read more Arthur C. Clarke. Rescue Party impressed me. I was so impressed.
Yep.
And
you ought to read The Songs of Distant Earth. I think you would enjoy that.
Okay. I shall. Do any of them like me, what we're doing this month?
Songs of Distant Earth, no. It won't.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's fine. I'll pick a date. I'll pick a time to read one.
The book is right over there somewhere. Yeah, it's right there.
Ah, there it is. And it is a given. I'm going to my way through Regina Bell's entire body of work.
Yeah.
And probably Lily Xander. I think I'm going to avoid Maya Tanith. Maybe not. Maybe that was just a one-off.
Maybe. Have my doubts, but
made it to the Alien War.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But Michelle Mills, I think I've already read everything she's ever written.
Yeah.
So.
For mine, it's. I'm really surprised I've never read this author, Mindy, from Mindy's Book Journey. We read this together. It was Bloodchild by Octavia Butler. I want to read a lot more Octavia Butler, and I'm going to starting in January.
Okay.
I want to start with her Xenogenesis series, and just work my way through it. It's a trilogy.
I know everybody's been singing her praises.
She's awesome. I mean, these two stories I read, Bloodchild and Amnesty, Mindy was already going to read them, and I was like, do you mind if I read them with you? She was like, no, that'd be great. And so we read those two together. And I think we got one more we're going to read together but I believe it's dystopian. I think that's right. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, the more books I read, the more dystopian futures I come across. That's why I'm saving the rest of the Shawn Warrior series by Regina Bell for the dystopian apocalypse week.
Yep, and if you're wondering why I'm not reading Asimov, I'm saving all that for the future history project we're doing.
There is a method to our madness.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. When we started this, we were writing down our prompts, and he was saying, "Shouldn't we have more?" And I'm like, "Why? We have 5." He's like, "You want to make a 10-minute video?" I told you we are not capable of making a 10-minute video.
No, we're not.
We talk too much.
Yeah, we doubled it, but this is long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now Becky has to go to town so we can upload the damn video.
Because we live in a black hole.
Yeah, and our internet sucks here. We have Wi-Fi, and it is total crap. Downloading a book, just a book, which is like 3 or 4 megabytes, can take, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Whereas in most places it'll take 5 seconds. So yeah, and it'll take us 4 hours to upload a video.
Downloading this 20-minute video would take easily 4 hours, maybe more. Uploading, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd take 4 hours
no,
or more.
I was trying to say.
But yeah, that's it. That's what we enjoyed. That's what we didn't enjoy. But all in all, it was a great week. I got 8 things read.
I got 10, maybe 11. No,
Yeah.
12 actually, because I read The Martian Odyssey. Yeah, I didn't have it on my list.
Yeah, that's right. A Martian Odyssey.
Martian Odyssey.
Yeah.
With a little
And
javelin.
I also want to look up Stanley Weinbaum. Really excited to read more by him too. Yeah, and of course Arthur C. Clarke. I haven't read everything. The guy's got tons of stuff out there I haven't read. I've read quite a few of his books and a few of his short stories, and I can't say I've not liked any of it.
Was that the first thing I've ever read by Arthur C. Clarke?
Yes.
Goodness.
Yep.
So I really need to read Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah, there's something you could read for.
The Songs of Distant Earth?
Not that. That Wool.
Is that Arthur C. Clarke?
No, that's something you could read for.
Well, but they're that big.
Okay.
We're supposed to be doing short stories.
Yeah, I know.
I want to. I read. Since you started talking about it, I read
The first one.
that one already. That's Wool. And it's about a group of a population of people who are living in these silos built into the ground. They're just spiraled down into the ground. And the outside world is just, as far as they know, is just devastated and destroyed. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Such a good book. And I have to get to the second
I look forward to Wool. I haven't read it. But we're good. We're going to go ahead and go now.
Yeah, we digress.
Yep.
So we will see you in a couple of days, I guess, when we do a midweek check-in for
probably Wednesday
for
or
Robot
so. I mean Thursday.
AI week.
Probably Thursday or so.
And I'm enjoying myself greatly.
Yep.
So your books are calling. Go read.